Um, all right, Patty. So we went through your video here. This is both of our high power videos next to each other. I'm just going to play this a little bit while we talk. So one of the things we talked about, okay, in the front. Oh, the first thing we talked about was your hand engagement with that pinky. So I think in this view, it looks like it is wrapped around here. But you just want to, yeah, I'm not seeing it as much here. Maybe it was in the lower power. But this looks okay, your hand engagement.
Okay. That's something to be conscious of.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the next big thing we talked about was how much your lower arm is bending. So at the front of your stroke, it's bending, I think, an acceptable amount. But I think when you, especially as you go into the second half of your pull, the back half, and we talked about looking at the lowest point of your pull, right? So if we drew a line of where the lowest point was, and if we continue back, okay, at what point does it depart really far away? And actually, right, if this is a third into your stroke, it actually, the trajectory of your pull starts coming up at this point, right? Versus we want to make sure that even after the first third of it, we're keeping it deep all the way until our power cutoff. Our power cutoff is probably around the mid-thigh, which is where my lower hand is here, right? And then we start exiting up and around. So that's going to be kind of addressed by how much you're bending this lower arm, right? If we look at this on the right side here, we want to keep, if we're going to have that slight bend, we're going to keep that slight bend, right? You can see that bend stays about consistent. Versus here, you started around here, and then as you continue, this started to bend more here, and that's why you end up, as you bend more, the paddle comes out of the water. Then the final thing we talked about was during your exit, making sure that it's almost like you're drawing a sword out from the side, right? Your top hand should make sure that when you finish, right? If I circle your top hand right here, and we take a look at what it's doing right when you exit, right? It's going in towards your chest right now, right? And we want to make sure it's always moving away from you as you're exiting and recovering, right? We talked about when you get into the 2 gate, which is straight perpendicular to the side of the boat, right? We can compare between me and you right here. I'm already right by my knee, right? And so that I have less distance to cover to get back to the front. So a lot of this, again, has to do with how much your arms are bent, right? We can look at my arms here versus your arms here, right? And we can see, because of the bends, we have to straighten the arms to get back forward, and that's going to cost us time. I think one last thing I noticed as we were watching this, which you can kind of see different between us. I know my top arm is maybe a little bit lower. No, it's about the same height in terms of like relative position to our head here. So as we continue going through the stroke, you'll see that my top arm pushes down. This again will have a lot to do with what you're doing with that lower arm. Because your lower arm is picking up, your top hand can't pressure down. So when you pressure down with your top hand and keep the lower hand lower, you'll see how much lower, right, the positioning of the end of my stroke looks versus yours, right? Yeah. Lower hand should be below your butt, and top hand will be pushing down about to the top of your thigh there. Okay. I don't think we saw anything particularly different from the front view, so I think I'm going to leave this video at that. Okay.